One common problem that writers have is being able to fund their dream of writing. So, on the one hand, we have the challenge of learning how to write and being able to write, but then also having the time to write and being able to support ourselves while we're writing the novel. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we fund our dream? What do we do while we're writing so that we can support ourselves and still be able to write our book? So let's talk about that today.
You have a story to tell, but you don't know where to start. Let me show you how to free your story. I teach you how to write and how to dig deep in your soul to release your story and make a difference in the world.
Welcome to the Julia Amante channel. If we're just meeting, I am Julia Amante. I'm a women's fiction author and I'm here on Fridays just to give you some writing tips so that you can get your book written and fulfill that dream of writing a book. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you a little story. So back when, pretty early in my career when I started writing, I went to a conference out in Miami, and it was all Latina writers, and one of the speakers that was there was Nelly Galan, and she was the former president of entertainment for Telemundo, and then she's moved on to do. She's an independent producer and written books and done all kinds of things since then. But at that time, that's what she had done, and what she talked to us about was being able to have a job, right? Or make money. Then it doesn't necessarily have to be a job, but be able to make money in order to support your dream. So you have your dream of writing a book or many books, right? Of having a career in writing, but you have to have two things. So after she spoke and stuff, we were chatting. We chatted for a while, and at the time, I was writing as under the pseudonym Laura Rios, and I had just written my what was it? It wasn't my first book, but it was Becoming Latina in 10 Easy Steps. And everybody was reading their books, and I said, I'm not going to read my book. That's okay. I was a little shy at the time about being, reading in public and all that. I really wasn't sure even what to do. So she came up to me and she says, "Why didn't you read? You should have read." So we started chatting. And I told her how I was a young mom at the time. I had my son was a baby, and I just quit my job in order to write full time. And she said, "I'm not so sure that you should have done that." And I thought, well, why not? I want to be home to take care of my son. And so, and I have this book that is doing pretty well. So this is a good time to just stop teaching and actually stay home and write. And so what she said was, what you need to do, and it was the same thing that she had spoken to everybody about, is think of what you can do to earn money, because you need to earn money. Whether, right now, your writing career isn't bringing in a lot of money, which was true. It wasn't. So you can't just rely on that and be broke. You have to have something that makes you money as well as the dream or the passion of writing. You have to have both. And if the passion, if the dream isn't bringing in the money, you need something else, because you need to be able to support yourself, take care of your baby and all that stuff. Now, the advice she gave me is good. It was good advice. It was too late because I had already decided that I was, I didn't quit teaching, but I took a long leave of absence that eventually ended up with me quitting. But I had already made up my mind. And I think looking back now, it would have been probably smart for me to continue teaching. Now I don't regret the time I spent at home, because I spent the time with my children, and you can't have that back, right? So even if I was broke, and even if I, really was still writing part-time, because I was a mom part-time, and I was, full-time, and I was a writer part-time. So it was still not full-time writing, because when you have little kids, when you have babies, there's no way that you're going to write full-time. You just aren't. You write around their schedule. But when I think back now, I could actually be retiring now as a teacher instead of, what I went on to do. Again, I don't regret any of it. But it wasn't bad advice. It was really good advice to do both. So don't feel bad if you're in a spot right now where you are working and writing, right? So you're writing when you can, you're writing in the evenings, you're writing in the mornings, you're writing when around your job, and you still are working, because honestly most of us are doing that. Most of us have to do that. We are not making enough money through writing and to pay our bills, and very few writers are able to do that. So if we're honest about that, right, if we just say, this is you may make enough money with writing at the beginning to pay for a few extra things, to pay for your computer to write, to go on a vacation, to do stuff. So that's great, right? So it's extra income that's not coming out of your paycheck. So it's good, but you may not be able to support yourself and make money and have a savings and all the things that we want to do. So I want you to consider that you probably will have to do both for quite some time. And maybe someday you'll be able to just support yourself with your writing. I'm still not there, right? So after 20 some years, I'm still not there. I'm still working. I'm still teaching and I'm still writing. I'm still doing both. And that's okay, because now I understand that it's okay. And I'm lucky to do something that I love to do, which is teach as well. So I get to teach and I get to write. So it's the best of both worlds. So if you can find a job that you like, then that's great too, right? Because you're loving both of the things that you're doing. But consider that you're going to have both your writing career and something else to be able to support yourself. So let's talk about the types of work that you could do as a writer in order to make money. So there's two types. So the one thing that Mrs. Galan was recommending was really to have a career, have this career where you're going to make a lot of money. And that career is going to support you. It's going to pay for everything. And then your passion, your writing, whatever your art is, will be the other part. So that's one thing, is to actually have a career. And I kind of do have that now with my teaching. So I have a career that I love, and I also have the writing that I love. But the other thing is, and for a long time I didn't have that. I didn't want that. I did not want a full-time career that was going to take up too much of my time, because I had my children and they were young. So the other part is to find a part-time job, just enough to pay your bills, that gives you that extra time to build your writing career and to be able to be successful at writing. So with a full-time career and children or other things that you may have, it's going to be really hard to develop that writing career as well. So if that might be, having that a full-time career that you love, that you need to dedicate a lot of time to, might not be something you want to do. You might want to just have a part-time job, so something that just pays a bill. Maybe not something that you don't love, but it's still just something that gives you the extra money. So you're not worried about making your house payment. You're not worried about paying for your car. You're not worried about that kind of stuff, and you can still have more time to write, because once you go and do that job, you have a lot of extra time. For example, with teaching, it's a lot of work, because not only am I creating my lessons, which is also a creative type of thing, to create lessons and ways to inspire and teach students so that they'll be excited about what they're learning. So it takes time to do that. It takes time to grade. And of course, it takes time to go and teach, whether it's online or whether it's in person. It takes a lot of time. So it pulls away a lot of my time that I could be using for writing. So this career really takes up a lot of my energy. What I did for many years is not that. I tutored at home around my kids' schedule. I did other little things. They were all around teaching, but it wasn't full time. I can go do that. If I wanted to, I could have done something else. I could have gone and worked retail for a while, done 3, 4, 5, whatever hours, and then come home and then not even thought about it. Had no obligation once I came home, except to my writing, except to my kids. So there's two types of work that you could do. One that is building a career, a separate career from writing, and the other one is just a part-time job to pay what you need to pay in order to really work and develop your writing career. Pausing for a second to let you know about a couple of courses that I've created. If you're a beginning writer and you want some help with your book, I just want to let you know that I do have a basic course on how to write, and I'm going to post it below. And if you're not a beginning writer, but you are more established and you're ready to publish your work, you have your novel written, I also have a publishing course. And I will also post it below, so take a look at it. Maybe they'll be just what you're looking for. All right, let's go back to the video now. And I've known writers that do both, right? I've known writers, most writers honestly have a full-time job, whether it's a career or not. I've known writers that were full-time lawyers, that were full-time police officers, and nurses, and they did that, and then they also had a full-time career as a writer. So you can do both. You really can. You have to have a lot of energy, take your vitamins and all of that, but you can do both, and do well, right, with both. So whether you decide to have that full-time job or have that part-time job around your writing, you do want to have something, okay? You want to have something so that you're not worried about the bills, because it's really hard to write when you're worried about how you're going to pay your bills, or you're kind of desperate to sell a book or an article or something so that you can survive. That's not good. You don't want to do that to your writing. You want your writing to be stress-free. So if it becomes something where you have to perform in order to be able to pay for your bills, it's not going to be good for your writing. So you don't want that. But there's other reasons too that you will want to have another job. One is that a lot of jobs, especially the full-time jobs, are going to come with other benefits, right? They're going to come with literally benefits like dental, medical benefits, retirement benefits. So things like that are useful, especially as you get older. You're going to want that because you may get sick more. If you have children, you may need medical for your children. So there's that additional benefit to having a full-time job, is that you get that, right? Where with writing, you don't. With the writing, you're an independent contractor, you're an independent business owner. You pay for everything. You pay for your own retirement. You pay for your own medical. There's nobody else that does that. So that is a huge incentive to actually get a job, to get a full-time job, so that you can have benefits to take care of your family's other needs aside from just, the financial pain of bills. You have medical benefits that, that are important as well. The other thing is that it allows you to pay into a retirement fund, or maybe your business pays, your company that you work for pays for a retirement fund. And then the years go by quickly. And so before you know it, it's something that you're going to need. You're going to need retirement benefits, right? Or retirement. So that's something to think about too. So again, with writing, it doesn't pay for everything. So you need to think about that. How are you going to do that? You either independently want to fund it, which means if you have a job, it gives you the money to do that, to fund it. Or again, you're lucky that if your company actually funds some kind of retirement for you. So it's definitely, another plus, and something that as a writer, you wouldn't have. You would have to take the money that you make as writing to save. And a lot of times, like I mentioned, you're not going to make enough money even to survive, much less think of retirement. The other benefit to having a job is actually really getting away from your book. Full-time writers still need space from their book. You still need a little bit of time away. So getting away from your book and getting out into the world and being with people and seeing things that are happening give you story ideas. It gives you a break from your story. You get to think about your book. When I get away, when I'm teaching, there's often times that I'm still thinking about my book. When I'm driving to work, I'm still thinking about it, but I have a little bit of space. I get a break. So when I come back, I'm eager to sit down and start writing again, because I've had a little space from my book. So getting away from your book is a good thing too. Something else that a job provides is maybe, hopefully, if the job is not stressful, if it is a part-time job, something that you're just going to do and then come back, it can be a stress reliever, right? Because you get away from your house, you get away from the issues, the leaky roof, you get away from kids, you get away from your normal routine at home, and you get to go out and be away from that and do something else and occupy your mind and occupy your body doing something different. And that can be good. It can be good for you just to get away, maybe relieve some stress, not think about the normal stuff. Where if you're working at home all the time, and some of you may have, right, in the last 3 years when we had to be home, it can be stressful to be at home all the time, even if you love it, even if you love writing. It is a benefit to actually going out and doing something else. It can give you a break, it can be a stress reliever, and it can just get you out of the house and thinking about something else for a little while. The other thing that a part-time job will do is get you moving around. So depending on what your job is, of course, right? If you have an office job where you're sitting down, then maybe not as much, but you still get out of the house. You still walk, you still have to get out of your office, and you get to go out and do things. But it gets you out. Like one of the things that I really wanted to do when I was young, and I wish I had, is I wanted to be a valet driver. First of all, I like cars, and I thought it would be really cool to be able to drive different cars. But I also thought it'd be amazing to be able to get some exercise, because you get in the car, you drive it, park it, run back, and you get another car, park it, you run back, so you're always running back and forth. I ended up never doing that because I don't really live in a place where I could do that. There are some casinos and stuff that I probably could have done it at, but I didn't. And I wish I had, because I think it would have been a fun job, and plus I would have gotten a lot of exercise. I wouldn't have needed a gym, and you make great tips and stuff. So I thought that was a great job. So if you're young, think about it. Let me know if you like it. But yeah, so just getting out there doing things. If you work retail, you're always moving around. If you're working at a restaurant, you're probably moving around a lot. So just getting away from your desk and getting some movement, some exercise is really good for you. And then the last thing is, I think it gives you some purpose, right? So we all need to feel that we are contributing, that we're contributing to our family financially. One is one way, right? But that we're doing something. We're working towards our future. We're paying our bills. We're paying off our house. We're getting things done. And having a job helps us to do that. It helps us to contribute. It helps us to feel that we have a purpose, that we're just moving forward in our life. And if you're not, right, if you're, writing again is amazing. And it's also, it also gives you purpose. But if you're struggling to pay for your bills, if you're struggling to financially support yourself because you're trying to write, then that can be a problem. Now, it doesn't mean that at some point you don't take time off. Like what I did, I thought was very helpful is I wasn't hurting for money at that point. So my husband was making okay money. I had saved money as a teacher. I was okay. It wasn't, we weren't going to struggle. We had to be careful. We weren't going to be able to go on vacations. We weren't going to be able to do a lot of the things that we were doing before, but it wasn't horrible. Like I wasn't stressed, and I got to spend time with my kids, and I got to work, on my novels, and I got to build my career early on. And I think that was helpful. If you could do something like that, that's great. I'm talking more about if you don't have money saved, right? If you don't have the things that you need, then you want to have those two jobs. You want to write, and you want to have a part-time or a full-time job, so that you're not stressed, so that you can really focus on your writing. You don't have to feel guilty because you're paying everything, you're taking care of things, and then you're spending some time with your writing. So my point with this video is that if you are someone who has to work, you have to have a job, and you're only getting to write a few hours here and there, and you're thinking, boy, I wish I could be a full-time writer. Don't feel bad about having to work around your writing. Okay, in many ways, working enriches our lives, and it makes it better, and it makes us better writers, and we don't have to starve, which is a good thing. Okay, so I hope this has helped you, and I hope that it's made you feel a little better if you are someone who struggles and has to write and kind of steal little moments to write. I totally get it. I did have to do that for many years. Sometimes I still have to do that because I am still working and I am still writing. So hopefully this has helped you. You know what to do now. Please hit the like and the share button, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I'll see you again next Friday.